So you had 5 points per transect where you had to measure with your stick. It was water depth, you took a negative number. It was mat height, you took a positive number. Here, I can pull this up if you guys want. Is it okay? Again, please excuse me, I was up super late too doctoring this thing to make it so I can teach it. It took me a long time. So anyway, as you can see, we have you'll have 20 points for the open, right? Because 4 of them, 5 of them are from one transect, and the next 5 are from your second transect. So you have all these points, a total of 20 points per site, with differing heights / depths. And basically, what you want to do is, let's see, sharpened timber zone should have more height, less so for water. So you just want to calculate the means of standard errors for each of those zones, which is what I've done over here. You can see I just took, I'm going to blow this back just a little bit. Where is it? So this is just the average of all the open. Shrubby is just the average of all the shrubby, and so on, right? And we all know how to calculate standard error. What's going to be different about the standard error calculation? All right, it's going to be the square root of 20, right? The way this is written out, it's just the count of these, so how many points there are. But you could also just put 20 in there for this spreadsheet. So that's your standard error. Once you have that, you can create your plot by just, again, selecting that. You get that. Okay, and then you want to put your standard errors in, which I've talked about before. If you still don't know how to do that, please come see me. So that's pretty straightforward as far as the graph. Make sure you label your axes. This is going to be centimeters, or inches, I'm sorry. Right? Some of you in your lecture reports too didn't put descriptions under your tables. So make sure you put like a little this would be like figure 1. Showing mean depth / height. Also put that your standard error bar, or your error bars represent standard error. Because they could represent confidence intervals, or they could represent standard deviations. So it's always good to put that in your caption for your papers. And then after you've done that, you want to get your stats on it. So we're going to use Vassar stats. Now it says in your thing, we shall use a one-way ANOVA with depth and height as a dependent variable and zone as the independent variable. So let's go to Vassar stats. So what kind of ANOVA did we run last time? Sorry? No, chi-square is a different test altogether. 2 by 2, right? So that was that's a two-way ANOVA because we had 2 things leveling on 2 different levels, right? So you want to go to ANOVA. It's right here. Then you have to pick what type of ANOVA. Last time we did 2-way factorial ANOVA for independent samples. This time we want to do a one-way ANOVA. Why is that? Because we just have with one independent variable, and then we have one independent variable and then one independent variable, and that independent variable is the different zones, right? So you want to set up how many different zones did we have? That's what it means by samples, zones. We have 4. then they're independent of each other, so you want to hit independent, and then they're weighted. So how you do this is now what we're looking at here is different columns for each of our different zones, right? So you want to plug in these numbers. So and then you want to keep track of what numbers are what. Also, from your last report, a lot of you just copied and pasted the Vasterstats thing, the rows and treatments and stuff. I'd really appreciate it if you could have the same format, but just at the very least in your table caption, say that, like, you know, row equals this, column equals this, or in this case, treatment equals these different zones. Okay. So at least acknowledge that what you're referring to if you put this in your report. Sorry, I digressed again. So back to how you're going to enter this data. You have your spreadsheet. We have our 4 different zones: open, shrubby, tamarack, and marsh. So you select all these, copy, go to Vasterstats, throw in the sample 1. So now keep track. Sample 1 is the open water. So this has been driving me crazy too, and let me talk about this real quick before we move on. A lot of times in your handout, it says open water, and that's okay for the if you're like doing is there a mat here, or is there a spectrum mat, or is this open water, or is this spectrum mat, or is this open water? But as far as the zone is concerned, we never actually did open water, right? We did cattails. So that's what, if it's talking about the open water zone in your handout, it's referring to the cattail zone. So don't get that confused, because those are 2 different things. Is that confusing everybody right now? Okay. So recall that in the I mean, we've got a bog, this is open water, and then you have a small section of some small cattails here, you really sample from, and then there's tamarack forest, right, and then there's this like shrub zone that went, it's a little amorphous, but it's kind of like, you know, and then there's cattails, right? So when it's saying open water in the handout, it should be that. But we never actually went out there and sampled anything in the open water, right? We don't have a boat. We didn't all go onto that small dock and try to sample shit. It would have sunk under the water and put it all around and stuff.